Hello, welcome to our live software demo of ConnectBooks today. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Colleen Quattlebaum, and I am the Director of Marketing at ConnectBooks. And joining me today is Mike Mermelstein, a Senior Account Representative here at ConnectBooks, and our in-house expert that helps customers and ConnectBooks users and sellers every day learn about all of our powerful features. So he will be diving into the tool and showing you all about ConnectBooks today. But first, I'll just give you a little bit of an overview. Most of you probably joined the webinar because you heard a little bit about ConnectBooks, or maybe it piqued your interest that you need some help with your accounting, maybe to save time. It's been, a lot of manual work to do imports, or maybe your numbers aren't matching up. And so that's what we're all here to help with. So ConnectBooks helps with real-time sales and profit analytics across all of the major marketplaces, including eBay, Shopify, Amazon, TikTok Shop, Walmart, Target. And so many seamless integrations, as well as a QuickBooks and Xero transaction sync that makes sure that all of your numbers match up perfectly. In fact, we even have a 100% accuracy guarantee. So you can rest assured that all of your numbers are accurate and not have to worry about any of the manual work and headache anymore with finances when you use ConnectBooks. So Mike will jump in, show you a lot of the powerful features and reports, and we will show you one of our newer tools, which is called Connect Stock, which is embedded in ConnectBooks and helps you to track your inventory value and health. And then we have some other new features in ConnectBooks as well. And whether you're a bookkeeper or a seller, if you're a seller who needs a bookkeeper, we're happy to help. If you are a bookkeeper, many bookkeepers and accounting firms use our tool to help their e-commerce sellers. So happy to talk to you about the different resources and options that we have. And then at the very end, we do have a special offer. So be sure to stay tuned. All right, so just a couple of quick things on a high level as a few more people are still joining, and then we'll dive right into the software. So what is ConnectBooks? As I mentioned, it's e-commerce accounting software, and it automatically syncs all of your e-commerce marketplace data to QuickBooks or Xero. So you can reconcile all your transactions and inventory from all your marketplaces, get your sales and profit calculations done in real time, and you get a detailed breakdown per SKU of all of your fees, your returns, your ad spend, and seeing it on a SKU level really helps you to get an idea of any hidden costs and your true profitability. And so why do people use ConnectBooks? Well, we all started the owner of the company started as a bookkeeper himself. He had a lot of e-commerce sellers that he was helping with their bookkeeping. And he was realizing that it was taking a lot of time to import reports, do a lot of the work manually. And the more he started to do it, the more he realized that there were a lot of hidden costs that the sellers were unaware of. So he created this tool to really bring that all to fruition, to automate all of the accounting process for e-commerce sellers, eliminate that manual entry and risk for error, generate reports quickly, and just have all of your data in one place. So the automation of our tool was built directly by a bookkeeper who understands the pain of managing books when you're selling on e-commerce marketplaces. So knowing which products are profitable or unprofitable is obviously key to an e-commerce seller's success. So our reports will give you a lot of that data that will really bring that into the forefront and make it very clear. So we have a detailed P&L report, for instance. It will track every expense, which will really show you your profitability. And then we have a new comparison dashboard, which is great, especially this time of year with Black Friday sales, fourth quarter holiday sales. If you want to compare your ad spend and sales week over week, month over month, day over day, the comparison dashboard is great for that. And as I mentioned, Connect Stock, this is our inventory management solution that is embedded in ConnectBooks, which really helps you to understand your inventory across all of your warehouses and FBA. Helps you to improve your cash flow with aging inventory insights and really understand your financial health so you can make better decisions. So it looks like we have quite a few people now that have joined. So I'm going to stop sharing these slides so we can really get into the nitty-gritty, and I'll turn it over to Mike where he can show you the tool live in action.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Colleen. I really appreciate it. That was an amazing preview. Thank you, everyone who is joining, and thank you for everyone that's watching the recording for current clients or existing clients, or even for, or not even, but for someone that doesn't use ConnectBooks yet. It's all the same. I think it's a very good idea to showcase ConnectBooks every once in a while, because even for people that's using it, we're always coming out with new features, and especially with this new Connect stack. It's always good to get a refresh going. So I really am excited. And if you have any questions along the way, feel free to send a chat, and Colleen and I will take a look at it, and we'll make sure to get everything answered. And if you're watching the recording, you have our emails. You can always send emails. We can always schedule something, a one-on-one demo as well. So let's jump straight into it. I am sharing my screen. Beautiful. The first thing that I want to discuss is, like Lee mentioned, we do have a comparison dashboard. We do obviously have a regular dashboard, which just, you select the time frame. We show you your sales and orders, but this is fairly simple. Nothing too crazy here. But recently we added a comparison to the dashboard, which is this is really powerful, because this, in a simple glance, shows you exactly how much you made throughout the year, month over month. You can do it week over week, you can do it day over day, and so on. So this really, in just a simple click of a button, can show you exactly what the trend is within your business. You can even select a specific SKU if you want, but this is really powerful in understanding where your business is heading towards. So a very cool feature, but again, it's pretty simple. Nothing too crazy. There's not a lot of customizations. This is a fairly simple dashboard, very powerful nonetheless. So let's hop on over to our reporting system. So what I like to do is I like to go through first the reporting tools, then the QuickBooks integration, which also works for Xero, but I'll be showcasing it on QuickBooks. And then we'll spend a couple of minutes on the ConnectStack inventory system as well. So first things first, you click on reports, you can see sales, inventory, and then we have a new feature that's called additional fees, which we'll get to in just a minute, but this allows you to basically bring in whatever fees you want, that's outside of the marketplaces. So first, let's click on sales. So you'll see all the different sales reports that we have. It's quite a lot. But the two main reports are the standard and then the comparison P&L reports. So I'm going to click on standard. And then obviously the first thing that it asks you is which store you want to see your numbers on. So you can select Amazon, eBay, Shopify, whatever it is. You can select all if you want, which I'm going to leave it on select all. And then, okay, this is files. This is for ConnectStack, which we'll get to a little bit later. So here in simple terms, you can just select a date range. So you can select whatever time frame you want to see, doesn't matter. And then if you want, this is actually a pretty cool feature. You could run a report based on settlement. So a lot of times clients reach out to us that they want to see a profit and loss report on a specific payout, let's say from Amazon. So let's say, they got paid $10,000 and they want to understand, why did I just get paid this $10,000? So if you run a report by settlement, it's going to show you the details only behind that specific settlement, which is really cool, and it really gives you a clear picture of why you just got paid, for example, the $10,000. But I'm going to leave it on date range. And then obviously we bring everything over, orders, refunds, adjustments, you name it, we have everything. But if you want, you can decide, I just want to see my orders for the last week. So you can just select orders. Then you can run a report based on SKU, ASIN, parent ASIN, or QuickBooks item name if you track inventory in QuickBooks, or ConnectBooks item if you track inventory in ConnectBooks, which again, we'll cover a little bit later on. So for now, let's just keep it simple. We'll select SKU, and then you can group it by categories or store. Again, a bunch of different options, but for now, we're just going to keep it simple. So I click on Run Report. And after a couple of seconds, you'll see all of the data. For now, it's set on a SKU basis, but obviously you can change it. So for now, we're seeing all of the different SKUs that I sold within the last couple of days, how many pieces I sold, the gross sale price, meaning how much I'm selling it for. All the different merchant fees go under this merchant fees column, but everything that you see here can be broken down in greater detail. For example, if I click on this plus symbol here and I click on merchant fees, right? So you get to see every single fee and the dollar amount of this almost $40,000 there, which is beautiful. And same thing goes with quantity. If you want to understand why we're telling you that you sold 9,900 pieces, this tells you, okay, you sold, this many in just orders, but then you had a couple of refunds and then a couple of adjustments. So the total amount that went out of inventory is 9,904. And there's just beautiful, again, with a click of a button. To do this within Amazon is next to impossible. So there's just a very clean and easy way to see all the fees, the quantities, and so on and so forth, like ad spend as well. We bring it in per item, which is very important. So you can see your advertising on each SKU individually. And then we have a column called other fees. So other fees is a column where we bring in the fees that's not on an order level. For example, storage or disposal. So if I click on the plus symbol again, and I click on other fees, it's going to show you exactly what's part of this other fees. And in this case, it's the disposal. But I would say it's mostly going to be storage. That's the biggest fee that's not on an order level. Then we have cost of goods sold. So cost of goods sold, we can, bring it in from different places. So it's either, if you don't use ConnectStack, if you don't use our inventory system, you would need to give it to us manually, either through Excel or literally go through item by item, which I'll show you in a minute how to do that. But obviously, if you use ConnectStack, we can just pull it from you entering your purchase orders and bills. But we'll get to that a little bit later. But the point is that we could calculate cost of goods sold, which is really important for profit, which is the next column. So you got cost per item, and then profit per item. So again, if you have the cost, it's accurate profit, but if you don't, then obviously the profit is not accurate as well. And then we have a bunch of other stuff that sellers would love to see, like ROI and profit margin, some ad sales data, the ACoS, sessions, conversion rate, buy box percentage, so on and so forth. There's a bunch of stuff that you can add on as well that's not here by default. So if I just click on the column button here, you can add on certain stuff, you can take off certain stuff, you can customize this report to showcase whatever you want to see and take off whatever you don't want to see, and then just save it as template. So if you play around with it and you have your report that you're comfortable looking at, you can just save it as template, and you can also do load as default. So that way you can just, every time you run the report, it's going to show you only the data points that you're interested in seeing. And if I scroll down, you're going to see total numbers. So total quantity, total gross sales, and fees and profits, so on and so forth. So this report, again, very simple concept. Select the store, select the date or payout, and you'll see your profits. But again, it's really powerful, especially with the cost of goods sold and seeing everything per SKU. Again, to do this on Amazon, it's next to impossible. So this is, I would say, the main and most used report within ConnectBooks. There's one other report I want to go through really quick, is the comparison, which is the same concept as a standard. It just allows you to compare different date ranges. So first you select the store. So I'll just do select all. And then I'm going to select, the last 30 days, and I'm going to split it by week. So basically what I'm telling ConnectBooks is that I want to see the last 30 days split by week. So it's going to give me 4 different columns for 4 different weeks. Again, this column, I believe they're working on something in the back end, so that's why this is showing up here. But on your account, you'll just see 4 different columns for the 4 different weeks. And if I just switch this to gross sales, because the default is gross sales, so you'll see all of your items, what the gross sales are on a week-over-week basis. This week was this much, this week this much, and you can see the ups and downs, dollar amount wise and percentage wise, which is really nice. But obviously, as you saw, you can change it from gross sales to show profit. If I just start off the profit, it's going to show you the profit. If you want, you can click on the plus symbol and you can see everything at once. So you can see gross sales and profit and ad spend and everything else. Again, you can take off and add on whatever you do or you don't want to see. So this is really, really nice. And whatever you see here, when you click on export, will be exported to Excel. So I forgot to mention on the earlier standard report, it could be exported to Excel, which is really nice because a lot of people want to do, their own formulas and stuff. So it's a really good feature to have where you can just run a report here, but then if you want to do your own formulas, whatever, you can just import it to Excel and do whatever you want with it, which is really cool. And if you don't want to see this on an item level, but rather on a total business perspective, then you can just click on the word total and you can see total business gross sales, total business profits. And like Colleen mentioned, this is especially powerful, if you want to compare this year's Black Friday sales to last year, you can just click here on top and select whatever date range you want, and you can do compare to another date range, and you can just make sure that you select the date ranges for the two, Black Fridays, and you can see the ups and downs. But again, this is technically endless. You can do custom, which means you can say, okay, show me every 3 days as a separate column, or every 4 days. You can do quarterly. It's endless. So again, simple idea, but very, very powerful. So these two reports, again, are the two main reports. There are other reports as well, like, for example, an order report, which showcases the profit and loss on an order level. So a lot of people reached out to us that they want to see profit and loss not on an item level, but rather each order individually. So we released an order report so you can see each order individually. You can obviously filter it by specific item or specific order. But this, if you have 100,000 different orders, it's going to showcase 100, for the last couple of days. It's going to show you the 100,000 different orders, which is really, really cool. All the other reports that you're seeing here are technically part of the standard P&L, but because there are so many different customizations and different ways to group it, like, for example, you can group it by categories and different stuff, that we decided it's just easier to have it separated here. And then you can say, okay, I want to run a profit and loss by store, which just takes you to the standard P&L and just groups it by store, which is really cool. So these are all the different reports. Obviously, we can go into more detail, but that can take we can sit there for days. But so those are all the different reports when it comes to sales. Connect Stock profit and loss is again the same idea. It's just run instead of on a SKU basis, it's run on Connect Stock items, which we'll get to in a couple of minutes. So these are all the reports under the sales tab. And then we have the inventory reports, which is very simple concept. If you don't use Connect Stock, then the reports that you'll see here is the FBA reports. So we brought in, the FBA restock, the ledger, the aging, all, the most important inventory reports. We decided to bring it to ConnectBooks because we don't want our clients to have to jump between Seller Central for this report, ConnectBooks for this report. So we decided to bring in all the important inventory reports to ConnectBooks. And we also recently, like in the last week or so, added AWD reports, which is really cool. So for someone that uses AWD, it's good to know that we have those reports as well. So you can see what's on AWD, what's on the way to Amazon. It completes the puzzle if you have FBA and AWD. And then for Walmart, we have WFS, which the same idea as FBA is just for Walmart. So again, it's technically a copy paste from Amazon, but it is very important and it is very good to have it in one place. But obviously, the main benefits of the inventory reports is obviously if you use Connect Stock, because if you use Connect Stock, you don't just get to see what's in FBA, what's in AWD, or what's in WFS, but you get to see across all of the different warehouses that you have inventory at. You get to see in a simple report and see right away what's going on across the warehouses, which I'll run those reports after we get a little bit of a better understanding of what Connect Stock is. We'll come back and we'll show you a couple of different reports that we got going on. So those are the inventory reports. Again, simple yet effective. One other tab that we have under the reports is called additional fees. And this is also very important. This is for people that have fees outside of their marketplaces. So outside of Amazon, for example, they have 3PL fees or their own shipping fees. For someone that does FBM, we do have a couple of different integrations to bring in the shipping fees. Like, for example, we integrate with Vico and ShipStation. But if you don't use one of these different software, you can import your fees very easily through this new-ish. This is one of our new features. It's called additional fees. So you can upload fees by SKU and you can upload fees by order. So if you want to upload fees by SKU, you simply click on Add Fee. You give us the store, the SKU, the amount, and then the fee name. And the fee name is obviously whatever you want to call it. So you can create your own fees and then obviously a date, because we need to make sure that it's on the P&L on the date that you want it to show up on. So it's that simple. And same thing with if you're using the Excel feature, which we do have here. It's just a simple template: store, SKU, amount, fee name, and date, and it's going to show up on the P&L, which is beautiful. By order is, in a sense, even more simpler, because by order, you don't need to tell us the store or the date, because we know just based on the order ID what store it's from and what the date is. So you just need to enter an order ID, amount, and what the fee name is. And again, on Excel, you just have the 3 columns with the fee name, the order ID, and the amount. So it is really simple to upload fees. Let's say, for example, again, you do shipping outside of Amazon and you don't use Vico or ShipStation, whatever software you use, as long as you can download an Excel sheet from there, you can just import it here by order and you'll have the shipping fee. So this is a very, very nice feature that we recently added. And that covers all the sales, inventory, and other fees reports, which is again really cool, and it's a simple click of a button. Next that I want to go through really quick is the QuickBooks /Xero integration. Again, I'm going to focus more on QuickBooks because my demo file is on QuickBooks, but the same works with Xero as well. And this is a very, very simple feature. It's a very simple integration. You click on accounting export, you click on, let's say, your Amazon store. We're going to showcase all the different payments that you got from Amazon. You got the settlement ID. CB ID is the ConnectBooks ID that we created, but this is Amazon's ID. You have the start date and end date, and then the fund transfer, meaning how much you got paid from Amazon. And here, where it says connect to QuickBooks, once your QuickBooks file is connected, you'll just see a nice green export button. And when you press that button, all of the data from the settlement flows into QuickBooks. Now, the reason, I'm just going to hop on over to QuickBooks real quick. The reason we do it by settlement is because if people start importing data, whenever they want, or like on a daily basis before Amazon actually paid, the whole QuickBooks will become a mess. And I know that's one of the most asked questions, so I'm gonna ask it for the audience: is why does ConnectBooks bring in data by payout instead of by day or whenever real time maybe? But the answer is, again, if we bring it in real time, you're going to have open receivables, open customer balances, and it's not going to be pretty to look at. So the easiest would be to leave the real-time data to ConnectBooks, and then in QuickBooks, we'll just bring it in when you get paid. So that way nothing changes. We know all the sales behind the payment, all the fees, the refunds, and whatever else. And that's when we bring everything over together. And to quickly show you how it looks in QuickBooks, let's just say, for example, you got paid $10,000. So you click export in ConnectBooks, and again, within seconds, it's going to show up here on QuickBooks. So you'll get to see the payment, which matches to the bank. So you can reconcile it again in seconds. But then we obviously bring in all the details behind the payment. So if I open up this journal entry, this $66,000 journal entry, you'll see that it showcases all the sales that you had, 120,000, all the different fees, commission fee, fulfillment fee, all the different fees that's part of the $10,000 payout. All comes in again with a click of a button, so that way your P&L is accurate and you can reconcile easily. And I think the most beautiful part is that there's no open balance, so you don't have to worry about, okay, what's this open? How come Amazon still owes me money? Right? There's no such thing. Everything is zeroed out. It's all reconciled, and it's just, again, this is pretty to look at. So that's why it goes by payout, and you don't even have to click any buttons if you don't want. We have an auto sync option. So once you're comfortable with how we bring in data, you got the chart of accounts set up the way you want it. We have our default way, but if you want, you can change around your chart of accounts as well. So once you're comfortable with it, you can just turn on auto sync, and every time you get a payout from Amazon, we'll send it over to QuickBooks without you needing to do anything. So this is more for I would say, the bookkeeper side of things, which, while I'm on the topic, we do recommend having a bookkeeper, because even though this does make life a lot easier in doing it yourself, because you just have to click a button and we'll bring it in, but it's good to have a bookkeeper on your side to go through everything, make sure that it matches and that everything is reconciled, and obviously to take care of the overhead or the whole QuickBooks file. So if you don't have a bookkeeper, you can reach out to us. We do have some people that we can recommend, some people that we trust. So feel free to reach out if you need any help with that as well. So yeah, this is more for like the bookkeeper side, and the reports, I would say, is more for the sellers. The sellers love just running reports the whole day and seeing their numbers. So this covers the QuickBooks integration, and then the listings tab is, again, pretty simple tab. The mappings we'll get to in just a second, but this is for people that don't use ConnectStack and they want to bring in a cost manually into ConnectBooks. We have a very simple tab. You go to listings, select your store, or you can even do all stores if you want to see all the different SKUs at once. And you click on product cost, and you can update the cost manually, item by item, or you can use the Excel feature. You can obviously change the cost, like if it goes up or down, just to quickly show you how that would look. So, from when this account was created till March 9th of 2025, the cost for this item was $1.50. Then from March till August or till September, it was $2 and went up to 15, 25, 26, and you can obviously change and edit, past costs as well. But just to show you how easy it is, you click add new period and you say, okay, from today, November 5th, the item cost went up to $27, and you can do include remaining stock, which allows you to give us, a number on the old stock, how much old stock you have at the old cost, how much new stock you're buying with the new cost, and we can do a weighted average for you, which is really cool. So you don't have to do any manual calculations. We'll do an average of 26.5. You just click save, and then from November 5th, our profit and loss report will calculate this specific SKU at a 26.5 cost of goods. And everything can be done via Excel. It's very easy. It just asks you for a cost. And if you ever want to update the cost, you just have to put in a new cost with a new quantity and a date. That's all there is to it. But again, this is for people that don't track inventory in ConnectStack, and if they don't track inventory in QuickBooks. When it comes to inventory, obviously that's the next thing I want to discuss, which is ConnectStack. But I would suggest using ConnectStack over QuickBooks, just because QuickBooks, it's pretty obvious that they're stopping to support QuickBooks Desktop, and QuickBooks Online, it doesn't really work that well with inventory. So we highly recommend, keeping QuickBooks on a summarized setup where you don't have any items, and leave all the itemized data, including inventory, for ConnectStack. It's just going to make your life that much easier. So within ConnectStack, just to quickly go through the different tabs to set up the system. First things first, you need to create items. Now, the reason why we want you to create items within ConnectStack is because if you run inventory reports based on Amazon SKUs, that could be a little bit of an issue, because if you sell on Amazon and Walmart, for example, you can have completely different SKU names that correspond to the same item that you're selling. For example, if you sell, let's say, cameras, on Amazon, the SKU could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and on Walmart, the SKU could be A, B, C, D, right? So we want to make sure that if you sell a camera, you should create an item in ConnectStack called camera. Then there is the mapping process. So if I go back to listings, and the first tab that you'll see is called ConnectBooks Mappings, and this is where you tell us all the different SKUs to which ConnectStack item you want to map it to. So for example, you have a random SKU, with random letters and numbers, and you're telling us that this SKU corresponds to the camera item in ConnectStack. So now we know every time you have a sale on this SKU, we know which item to deduct from inventory, which is a camera. And if you have different SKU names from Walmart or other marketplaces, that's also camera, and that's not a problem. You can map as many different SKUs as you want to one ConnectStack item. So that's why it's just best practice to create items, with the actual item name, and then do the mapping process. Obviously, we can handle multi-packs. We can handle group items, which is kits. So you sell, let's say, a camera and a camera case under the same SKU. That's obviously very easy to set it up here. You can either click on multi-pack and put in what the quantity is, or you can do group item, and we ask you which 2 items or more, you can add as many items as you want, are part of this group or kit. Everyone has a different way of saying it. So yeah, it's a very, very simple setup. So again, ConnectStack items, and then comes the mapping process. Once that's done, you go to purchasing. Purchasing, we have purchase orders and bills. So purchase orders is obviously when you order items, and bills is when you receive the purchase order. So on the bill, it looks very similar to a purchase order. We ask you for the bill number, the vendor, the items, And then one of the most important things that you need to fill out is the warehouse. This allows us to track however many warehouses you have. Because every time you enter a bill, we know which warehouse you're going to be receiving the items at. And every time you do a shipment to Amazon, we get that shipment automatically. So there's no need for you to do anything. We get that shipment from Amazon and we deduct pieces from your local warehouse, put it into an in-transit warehouse, and then from in-transit to FBA, this is real time. Like if Amazon received today 10 pieces, we're going to deduct 10 pieces from the in-transit warehouse, put it into FBA. And then tomorrow they receive another 10, we'll do the same. So you don't have to worry about accurate inventory because we don't wait till it's actually closed, the shipment. It's real time. We work together with Amazon. So again, on the bill, you can enter whatever warehouse it is that you're receiving the items at. And that's where we're going to be increasing the inventory. And then when you create a shipment, we will deduct pieces from the local warehouse, or you can say, this time the shipment goes out from a different warehouse than it usually goes out from. So it's all flexible, it's all customizable. So you can have as many warehouses as you need or want. So this is the purchasing section. Again, very simple. First, you do a purchase order. And then when you receive the purchase order, you convert the purchase order to a bill. And then you can see which purchase orders are open or partially closed, because also you can receive a partial purchase order. And then you can see which ones are closed fully, which means that you received the full purchase order. You can download the purchase order to a PDF and then send it forward to your vendor. We are releasing a feature in the near future that would allow you to actually from ConnectBooks send it directly to the vendor. But for now, till we release that feature, first you can download it to a PDF and then you can just email it to your vendor. And then on the bill section, we have this export button, which allows us to import the bill to QuickBooks. Again, just to clarify, in QuickBooks, we won't bring it in itemized. In QuickBooks, we'll just bring it in, total, summarized. Let's say the total bill equals to $10,000. We'll just increase the inventory asset account in QuickBooks with $10,000. So it's not going to be itemized or anything because ConnectStock will have it itemized. We'll keep track of all of your items and the quantities and so on. So this is, again, more for the accounting and bookkeeping side, just so you don't have to worry about doing double entries, both in ConnectStock and in QuickBooks. So we can import it for you. And then from this point forward, everything is automated. Creating the items is something that you need to do. You can do it via Excel. Purchasing is also something you need to do because we don't know when you purchase items, obviously, but it can be done via Excel or manually, or even through AI, which is like a PDF. If you have a PDF, you can upload it into ConnectBooks. So it's all very simple. But then obviously the sales and the refunds is all being calculated automatically from the marketplaces, so we can always give you an accurate inventory count. Then we have a sales tab, which is for people that sell, for example, wholesale. So you'll sell outside of the marketplaces that we integrate with. So you can just bring in the sales manually using this invoice system. So we can track those sales as well, make sure that the inventory is accurate. And again, we can import everything to QuickBooks so you don't need to do the whole double entry. Then we have adjustments. So adjustments is obviously, we all know with warehouses, you can find yourself with more or sometimes with less than you thought that you have. This stuff happen. So we need to allow people to make adjustments, obviously. And also, the beginning inventory adjustment is obviously very important. We need to know what we're starting with. So in order to give you accurate inventory, we got to know how much we're starting with. So this adjustments feature is very important. Then we have warehouse transfers. So again, not to confuse anyone, this warehouse transfers is only for people that have multiple warehouses that's not FBA. If you only have one local and then you send it forward to FBA, you don't need to do any manual transfers because we get that information automatically from Amazon. So the warehouse transfers is if you have multiple warehouses that you're sending, to and from, that's not FBA, you need to do the transfers manually, so that way we can update it properly. Then we have assemblies. So again, simple concept. This is relevant for people that do kit items. You can build assemblies in ConnectStock, so that way we can give you real-time inventory updates. Quick example, if you sell cameras and you sell camera cases, but then you also sell them bundled together, you can build the assembly in ConnectStock, so that way we can right away deduct pieces from the individual items and increase the bundled item. And that way you can right away see, okay, how much of the individual cameras do I have? Oh, I only have 50 because I just assembled 50 for the bundled item. So it's just good to have a feature. Again, not everyone uses it, but if you want to have real-time inventory, this is a very, very important feature, so that way we can track every time you assemble some items. Then FBA shipments, again, this is the page, which is automatic. It's for you to see the shipment IDs, how many units were shipped, how many units were received. But again, there's nothing for you to do manually. This is all just from Amazon. The shipment discrepancies, however, is something that we added on our own, which is really important. This is if Amazon ever over receives or under receives inventory. For example, you create a shipment of 1,000 pieces and Amazon only received 900, you can tell ConnectBooks what to do with the 100 discrepancy pieces that's just sitting somewhere. It's right now sitting in the in-transit warehouse, but we don't know what really happened. Is it garbage? Is it lost? Is it really in your local warehouse and you only sent out 900 to begin with? So based on real life events, you can tell us what to do with the discrepancy items. Again, you can adjust it, which means we're just gonna take out pieces from inventory. We're gonna mark it as lost. Mark resolve just is basically you telling ConnectBooks don't worry about it, which I'm highly against because something happened. So we want to make sure we know what happened. And then clear in transit means you're telling ConnectBooks, I only sent out 900 to begin with, and the other, the rest of the 100 pieces are sitting in my local warehouse. And then we have lists, which showcases everything that you created within ConnectStack, vendors, customers, and warehouses and everything else. So this is the whole ConnectStack system. This is where you set everything up, make sure that everything is good, all the bills are entered. And obviously, if this is properly set up, then you get to take advantage of the inventory ConnectStack reports, which gives you inventory on all of your different warehouses, not just FBA or WFS. Rather, you get to see what's in, you can have a factory warehouse on the ocean, default, in transit, FBA warehouse. I mean, you can have as many warehouses as you want. So this is a very, very cool, simple report. You can see per item, how much is sitting in any warehouse or, total inventory. Or on the bottom here, you can just see total numbers rather than per item. But you can filter to different items, select which warehouse you want to see. It's very, very good to have. It's very simple, very user-friendly. But this is only with using ConnectStack. One other report I wanted to show you with ConnectStack, or actually two other reports. One is the inventory detail, which you can put in any item you want, and it's going to show you all the inventory movements from that item from whatever day you selected. So let's just say you want to see for the last year, you can see every single detail behind the transaction. So you can see all the orders and refunds and everything else. You can select here. Let's say you just want to see bills that were entered or just orders, whatever. You can. It's a very easy place to see if something went wrong. Like you can see right away on a bill if maybe someone entered an extra zero, right? Because you see, wait, why is this bill saying that I received 10,000 pieces when I only received 1,000? So you can right away see and detect if something is off, which is really nice. And you can also filter it to specific warehouses as well. And one other report, which I think is the most important report, is the aging. So this tells you how long you're sitting with your items, that's not sold. So for example, we can tell you that you have $92,000 in assets that are between 30 and 60 days old, and you have 120,000 that's between 90 and 120, and so on and so forth. You can also change the intervals to every 15 days should be a separate column. You can run it through the whole year instead of just being stuck at 120. It's endless, this report, and it just gives you a quick idea of assets that's sitting for more than whatever time you want to see. Like a lot of people see as 120 days way too long. So that's that. And if you want to see it through the whole year, you can just change this to 365 and you'll see a whole year's worth of data. So yeah, I mean, this is technically, in broad, all the different features. So you can go into more detail, but for that, I recommend reaching out to us and having a one-on-one demo. But that basically covers everything. Obviously, Colleen, you can tell me if I missed anything, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think you covered pretty much everything. So definitely we'll open it up for any questions. So we're happy to answer any questions that you might have, or if there's anything specific that you're looking for in an accounting tool or a pain point that you have, feel free to let us know, and we can show you how ConnectBooks might be able to solve that. I did put a link in the chat to our page with some accounting experts that we recommend if you're looking for a bookkeeper. And if you're an agency or bookkeeper yourself, let us know. We're happy to talk about different partnership opportunities because we do work with a lot of bookkeepers and agencies. And then we also offer a free dashboard. So if you just want to dip your toe in the water and check it out, we do have a free dashboard, no credit card required, risk-free. It's forever free.
Yeah.
So I put a link to that as well. Yeah, and our pricing is really based on orders and the number of marketplaces that you have, but it is very reasonable, especially when you look at the amount of profit that can be uncovered. You can stop, losing money in the details and stop wasting time. Start working harder, or sorry, smarter, not harder, right? As they say. Um, so yeah, again, any questions, please let us know. And you can reach out to Mike at connectbooks.com or myself, Colleen at connectbooks.com with any questions. Yeah, I think we have a quiet group today. So usually we get quite a few questions, but yeah, don't be shy. Yeah, because if there are no questions, then just I wish everybody a great fourth quarter. Hopefully everybody has a great holiday season. Lots of money to be made in the e-commerce industry this quarter. So I hope everybody has a strong year end. And when you're looking to close out your books or look at your numbers at the month end and you need help, just know that we're here. We're happy to help. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining today.
Yep. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Colleen, for doing everything, setting everything up. And like Colleen said, if you have any questions, Mike at ConnectBooks, Colleen at ConnectBooks would be happy to help.
Great. Thanks a lot.